Breaking news.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In.The.News. Live news and commentary from around the world by your host, Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
What up, everybody? It's May 18th, 2016. This is Holy Joe Rock and Roll, and this is In the News. Well, last night you may have seen what happened. It was sort of mixed results, we might say, regarding the Democrats. Now, I usually don't really care about the Democrats, what's going on there, because they're going to lose. Okay? But what's really interesting is, once again, Hillary is a weak candidate, very flawed, weak candidate, and she cannot put Bernie Sanders out of the race. So let's just recap what happened. Bernie Sanders wins Oregon by significant numbers. I'm seeing here 75% of the precincts reporting Bernie Sanders has 54.5% of the vote. He wins 28 delegates. It's a win for Bernie, and Hillary pretty much ignored Oregon. But what's more pressing is Kentucky, where, it's like neck and neck. And as I was watching the coverage last night, as the polls were closing, or right after the polls closed, and they were tallying delegates, Sanders was actually ahead until the very end. They're still reporting 99% of the precincts reporting. The difference is 2,000 votes, and basically they're splitting the delegates, 27 each, as of right now. So you could say that Hillary won. I don't know if they've officially called it, but it's just so close. Now, I would like to just run this by you. This whole time, there was all this, never Trump, anybody but Trump going on, contested convention talk on the GOP side. But Trump put that stuff to rest after Indiana when he clobbered everybody. And now he's, one or two more contests away from getting the required 1237 delegates. So Trump has got the GOP nomination in the bag. And he's slowly but surely uniting the Republican Party as best he can. But at the same time, he's also garnering support from independents and even Democrats, or let's say Reagan Democrats, blue-collar Democrats, traditional Democrats, not these uber left, but even actually some of the uber left. I think that some of the Bernie Sanders supporters,
it's 1 o'clock,
when they realize that, the deck is stacked, the nomination process is rigged, because if you look at the other numbers, and actually very important numbers, if you look at the big picture numbers, Bernie Sanders has 1,488 pledged delegates. Hillary Clinton has 1,767 pledged delegates. So really, that means Bernie Sanders really has like 12% less, around 12, 15% less delegates than Hillary. And there's still a bunch of states to go. So you could say he is a contender. It's just that these super delegates is what's pushing Hillary over the top. She has 524 super delegates versus Bernie Sanders' 40 super delegates. And, when you see Bernie Sanders winning state after state after state, he's won 11 of the last 13 contests. Hillary's won 2 of the last 13. You have to say that he is a contender. This is not over. Although Hillary probably in the next, she needs about 100 more delegates to capture the Democrat nomination. She's very close. It's pretty much inevitable based upon her pledged and super delegates. But when everybody was saying that the GOP was going to have a fractured contested convention, it looks like the Sanders fracture of the Democrat Party and is going to be the story. That's going to be the story. Hillary is a weak candidate, and the turnout, even in West Virginia, it's down 30%. The voter turnout is down 30% from 4 years ago, from 8 years ago. So what does that say? What does that foretell for the general election? Democrat turnout is going to be down. GOP turnout is up, sometimes 70%. Now you have to acknowledge that a lot of that is people who have never voted before, people who haven't voted in a long time, independents, and Democrats who switched over. So really, this whole never Trump, Trump's not going to be the president. I mean, that's what they said all along. He's not going to be the nominee. He's not going to win 1237, and he did it. And I think people are just so tired of what's been happening that Trump is really just a breath of fresh air. And there's a lot of women that are supporting him. If you look at these rallies, there's a lot of women. You look at the people waiting in line, it's a lot of women that are supporting Donald Trump. So I just normally don't cover the Democrat side, but it's really kind of interesting as we're getting down to the wire, close to the end for this part. You're seeing that really Hillary is, again, a very weak candidate. And I really don't see how she wins. Even though the deck is stacked against Donald Trump, I see him pulling it off. That's my prediction. He will win the election in 2016. Your next president will be Donald J. Trump. DJ Trump. I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll. This is my analysis in the news. Make it happen for the captain. You're the captain.
Watching In the News, a feature of HJRR TV and presented by the Reverend Dr. Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Please rate us, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel for more In the News.